Remarrying with a kid in tow? A flawed one, at that. Today was the long-awaited elementary school entrance admission guidance. I wanted to watch over my child's proud moment with a serene heart, but I ran into my ex-husband, Noah. It felt like no time had passed in 9 years, as Noah casually struck up a conversation. "So, are you alone? Where's your husband? Could it be you remarried just to dump the kid on someone? You're being used, you poor thing. Or maybe you're infertile and just glad to have a kid, even if it's someone else's? Why do I have to be belittled by someone from the past? I'm nearing my breaking point. But the important guidance is about to begin. Keep it together. Just endure it for now." Despite my efforts to bear it, Noah somehow ended up terrified of my serious husband. Noah made a scene all by himself, shaking and posturing. "My name is Sally, 24 years old. I just got married and moved to a peaceful rural area. My husband, Noah Turner, was born in this small town. Our meeting happened here too. A year ago, during a road trip with friends, following the GPS led us onto a farm track by mistake. Pushing forward despite feeling anxious, I found myself in the middle of a wheat field. Panicking, I tried to U-turn but got stuck in the mud. The car wouldn't move forward or back. Just as I was stunned, Noah appeared briskly. He quickly called for help, and we were successfully rescued from the mud. "Hey, that helped." "Then, since you're a senior, special price, $6,000 all right?" "Hey, you're ripping me off." Noah, joking around with the junior he had called for help, looked cooler than any man I had met before. "Thank you. Don't worry about it. Can't leave a cute girl in trouble, right?" I thanked him by treating him to dinner, which led to dating and eventually, marriage. The town Noah called me to is next to a somewhat flourishing regional city. A fairly rural area though not quite countryside. We are incredibly lucky because Noah's parents built a house next door as a wedding gift. However, the area is mostly residential, and you need a car to even buy a soda from a vending machine, let alone groceries. As someone who is a paper driver and developed a fear of driving after getting stuck in the mud, I really focused on practicing driving. I got used to driving enough to marry with peace of mind, but I later realized that driving skills weren't the problem. Noah, surrounded by his local friends, is very sociable. Noah and his friends love barbecues, so they often gather in our backyard, 4 or 5 junior guys making a festive noise. "Hey Sally, we're out of beer." And serve some drinks to the juniors. As a wife, you gotta pour drinks for them without being told, right? It's not even summer yet, but this morning's news warned about heatstroke. It's an unusually hot day. And here I am, endlessly flipping meat at the barbecue grill. My makeup is melting off with the sweat. "Sally, where's my drink? And we're out of meat too? Hurry up, I want to eat some Wagyu beef. How long do I have to wait? If it takes this long just to grill, it'd take you 3 days to cook a normal meal, wouldn't it?" One of the juniors teased, and everyone burst into laughter. Noah laughed along with them. "Ahaha, sorry about that." I ended up laughing too, carried by the mood. Sweat stings my eyes. Tears blur my vision, but they're hidden by the sweat so no one around notices. I keep smiling and working among almost strangers. I thought I was sociable and enjoyed socializing, but even so, hanging out with his friends is just exhausting. The teasing from the juniors and being treated like a maid is painful, but I endure it because I'm the new wife, and maybe that's just how it is. It's still hard for me to get into their vibe, so I might as well stick to grilling meat and give ambiguous smiles. Yet, being almost the only woman in a gathering full of men can be truly annoying. Geez, Sally really isn't sharp. Well, I guess I'll just have to pour the drinks for everyone. Huh? Does everyone seem happy? You guys like me too much, huh? The group changes every time, but Stella, with her high-pitched voice, is always there. It seems she was the center of attention until I came along. At first, the men came up to me, but Stella chased them off like pests. "Sally is Noah's wife, guys. No touching. No getting cozy. I appreciated Stella's protective stance for a moment, until I quickly saw her true colors. Like Noah and the other men, she left me to do everything from setting up the barbecue to cleaning up, while she was surrounded by the men, playing the role of a nightclub lady. She didn't stand up even once, just ordered me around. Sally, I want some noodles, hold the bell peppers and carrots. The only other female participant was not on my side. The barbecues are supposedly for me, the newcomer, to mingle with the local crowd, but even after about 6 months of marriage, I still don't feel like I fit in. This barbecue was just another session of listening to the junior guys brag about their exploits. And then I single-handedly took down a gang of 100 guys. And I did it all bare-handed. Was it even a realistic fight? I doubt it, but I know they don't need to hear anything from me, but wow, that's impressive. After everyone left the barbecue, my mind couldn't rest. Don't believe that Junior's story, he really exaggerated it. It was actually me who ran to help when the juniors were getting beaten up and took those guys down. I don't say it to boost the juniors, but if you mention Noah's name around this town, everyone shivers with fear. Isn't that funny? I'm usually so nice. After enduring the juniors' tales of bravery, Noah then starts to recount his own exploits to me. Again, no responses are allowed except for wow, that's amazing. Listening to their tales of bravery and dealing with Stella acting like a queen wears me out more than serving at the barbecue. And my troubles continue. As I clean up the barbecue alone in the yard, my mother-in-law from next door pops her head out. It looked like you all were having fun today. Yeah. I couldn't really say I enjoyed it. She calmly advises me. But you know, when are you gonna start a family? Barbecues are more fun with family, right? You've been married for 6 months now, you should plan it out. Sally, you're almost 25, right? If you don't have your first child soon, by the time you have your third, it'll be a late pregnancy. How about getting pregnant before Noah turns 27 in August? Yes, but this is something that's out of our hands. I dodged the question, but my mother-in-law cheerfully responded. Don't worry, honey. If you're 25, you can easily have kids. It'd be nice to have a girl first. Girls are easier to raise than a boy. The third one can be either. Sally, you're so pretty, I'm sure your kids will be adorable too. Oh, I can't wait, hee hee. It doesn't seem like my mother-in-law means any harm. But, honestly, I've heard this talk so many times it's like a broken record. Just like Noah's and the juniors' tales of bravery, my mother-in-law also happily talks about her future grandchildren. It's been 2 years since I married Noah. Noah's younger friends have gotten married one by one and had kids, and the number of people at our gatherings has decreased, but the festive barbecues remain a constant. Yet, I haven't had any children. In other words, nothing has changed from 2 years ago. Only the attitudes of the people around me have completely changed. Noah and his friends use me more and more without restraint. My mother-in-law's comments have clearly become more pointed. Noah's almost 30 now, and you're 27, right? It's not unusual to have a couple of kids by 27. Poor Noah. Why won't you make him a father? If it were up to me, I'd love to be a mother. But I haven't gotten pregnant even once in these 2 years. I wanted to get tested at the hospital and, if necessary, try fertility treatments, but my mother-in-law and husband strongly opposed it because of what people might think. What started as a cheerful relationship with my mother-in-law has devolved into being called useless. It's expected that I perfectly handle all the housework as Noah's wife, work part-time at a factory during weekdays, and entertain Noah's friends on weekends. I also help my in-laws with their business unpaid in the early morning or late evening, leaving me no time to rest. It's quite hard. No matter how hard I work, I'm considered useless if I don't have a child. If only I could have a child. Feeling cornered, I tried folk remedies and bought supplements and traditional medicines online that are supposed to be good for fertility. But nothing has worked. Of course, it hasn't. We barely do anything that could result in having kids. Fertility talk, kids talk, it's so annoying. It's such a turn-off. Despite being pressured by his parents, he seems unwilling to cooperate. It's impossible for a woman alone to get pregnant, but I was desperate not to miss the few chances we had. All those futile efforts became meaningless one day. Let's get divorced, Noah suddenly said during an ordinary breakfast.
What? Why?
Because you can't have kids. What about my heir?
We can keep trying together.
That's when my mother-in-law chimed in. Sally, do you know what the primary job of a wife is? It's to produce an heir. Yes, that's true. I looked down, and my mother-in-law spoke to me a bit more kindly. It's okay, Sally. When I looked up, both my mother-in-law and Noah were smiling. Don't worry, we already have an heir. I tilted my head, not understanding. Noah's smile twisted into a sneer. Yeah, we have an heir because, you see, Stella is pregnant. Unlike you, who couldn't manage it in 2 years, Stella succeeded on the first try. Yes, Stella is commendable. So, what does this mean? Noah and Stella had an affair, and Stella got pregnant? So as his wife, I'm being discarded? Although I understood, I neither cried nor got angry, I just zoned out. While the in-laws were thrilled about their first grandchild, they handed me $20,000 in cash, and I was kicked out of the house the next day. Surprisingly, Noah, my in-laws, and even Stella came to see me off.
I'll do my best to have a healthy baby. Sally, don't despair just because you're infertile. There's still good in life without kids, probably. Take care, bye-bye.
Without watching me leave, my former in-laws and Noah, along with Stella, entered the house I had lived in until just yesterday. 9 years have passed since the day I was unilaterally divorced. I am now 37 years old. Today, I dressed more fashionably than usual, wearing a bright-colored suit and a flamboyant corsage at my chest. It's the elementary school entrance admission guidance. The schoolyard is adorned with colorful flowers, celebrating the start of the new students. Parents gathered in the gymnasium, eagerly awaiting the entrance of the new students. Is that Sally? I was enjoying the moment, digital camera in hand, but a voice from behind sent a chill down my spine. It was an inappropriate voice for such a joyful occasion. The voice's owner forced a look at my face.
Wow, it really is Sally. What are you doing here? Why are you at my school? Hey, don't ignore me.
I reluctantly looked at the cheerful man. It was unmistakably my ex-husband, Noah. No way, seriously, it's Sally. Eh? Why are you at our school? Oh, I often get emails about suspicious people, but could it be Sally is one? Wow, a suspicious person crashing the school? Next to Noah was Stella, looking unchanged even after 9 years. She was dressed in a flashy miniskirt suit that wouldn't be out of place in a nightclub, with her hair done up extravagantly. I didn't want to be associated with these people, fearing others might think I was like them. I'm here because it's my child's entrance admission guidance. I simply stated this while facing forward, and Noah and Stella burst out laughing. Did you hear that? She says it's her child. Infertile and all. Scary. She really is a suspicious person. Infertile and all. The gym was somewhat noisy, but their voices were louder than anyone's. Unable to bear it, I cautioned them. After we parted ways, I remarried. The guidance is about to start, please take your seat and be quiet. I coldly snapped back and then chose to ignore them. Wow, remarried to a guy with kids? What a lemon. To my dismay, Noah and Stella sat down next to me. Stella proudly lifted her chin and caressed her belly. Glancing over, I saw her belly was rounded just like it was 9 years ago. Without anyone asking, Stella began to babble. Notice this? It's my 5th child. The one starting school today is my 3rd. I get pregnant so easily, sorry about your infertility issues, Sally. Noah, finding it amusing, poked me with his finger and got annoyingly familiar. Don't ignore me. So, you're here alone? Where's your husband?
Did you dump the kid on your new husband? I get it, your husband's a loser, huh?
I was just here to watch my child's proud moment, yet why must I be demeaned by someone from the past? I felt like I was reaching my limit. But the important admission guidance was about to begin. Just endure it, just endure it. I had no choice but to hold on. Soon, the guidance began. When the new students entered, Noah and Stella started squealing like it was a pop concert. Surprisingly, they were quiet during the guidance. I thought they knew to behave, but I was appalled to see them bored, playing games on their phones. It's sad to see parents who should be role models acting like this. They weren't listening to the principals or the parents' representative speeches at all.
Whoa, got a rare item in the gacha.
Look! We're not even friends, but Noah casually spoke to me. No matter how quietly they spoke, it stood out in a quiet place, and I didn't want to be involved. Noah, seeing my non-response, nudged my shoulder with a frustrated face.
What's with that look? Having fun at a stepkid's school? Who cares about someone else's kid?
Noah kept taunting me as if testing how long I could remain unresponsive.
Are you afraid of your new husband? Like you can't stand up to him? Figures, he's the type to dump his kid on his wife and not show up at the school. The kid will probably rat you out to your husband if you don't act right, right? Isn't that so?
Noah presumptuously nodded, making assumptions.
I'm the kind of dad who comes to the entrance admission guidance for my cute kids. Am I a hands-on dad? I guess it's normal these days. Maybe your husband is just a loser? Could it be you remarried just to offload the kid?
Poor you, being used.
Or maybe you're just happy to have a kid, even if it's someone else's?
The whispered insults didn't stop. Stella, sitting next to Noah, giggled along. It's the middle of the important occasion. Just endure, endure.
Noah is actually a pretty nice dad. He always comes to the school occasions and the sports day. If only Sally could have gotten pregnant, she could have been happy with Noah. I feel kind of responsible, dumped by nice me and stuck with a loser, huh?
Endure, endure, no, I can't take it anymore. I don't want my child or husband to be insulted any further. I'll introduce you to my husband. Without looking at Noah and Stella, I spoke sharply while looking straight ahead. I'll show them that my husband is not the loser they think he is.
Oh yeah? Where? Where's your not-so-cool husband?
Noah looked around, pretending to search. I kept my eyes on the stage and answered. He's right in front of you. That man giving the speech as the parent representative of the new students, that's my husband, Mike.
What?
Noah and Stella, who had shown no interest in the guidance, finally looked towards the stage. There stood a man confidently giving his speech. That man is my proud husband, Mike. He wasn't sitting next to me only because he had duties as the parent representative of the new students, but of course, he was watching over our child. He's certainly not the kind of man who leaves all the parenting to the mother or shows no interest in his children.
What? The representative? Just wants to be noticed, huh?
Noah and Stella were slightly flustered. The sight of serious Mike, so unlike what they had imagined, clearly irked them. Mike had actively taken roles in our child's preschool and the community association. It all started when Mike, unable to stand the heavy silence around him as everyone else looked down, volunteered during the first committee selection at preschool. Mike is a large man and not very talkative, which might make him seem intimidating at first glance. But at his core, he's serious and has dedicated himself wholeheartedly to the preschool and our community. He'll likely be just as active in the elementary school. With that, I conclude my brief speech as the parent representative. Thank you for being here today. September 2024, Parent Representative of the New Students, Mike Shirima. Mike finished his speech and bowed. Glancing at Noah, I noticed him inexplicably pale and trembling slightly.
That guy? Really?
It's strange that Noah is so shocked just because my husband is a serious man. Noah huddled closer to Stella, shrinking in size. After that, Noah and Stella quieted down, and the guidance proceeded smoothly. Then I quickly distanced myself from Noah and his group. Mike was caught up in a conversation, apparently, because he didn't leave the gymnasium for several minutes. Peeking inside, I saw he was trapped by a chatty neighbor lady. It looked like it would take a while. I stood alone by the entrance, looking up at the lush green leaves swaying in the wind. Then, from a distance, Noah and Stella, who had been watching me, came over to hassle me again.
Oh, all alone? That guy earlier was just a bluff, wasn't he? Look, your so-called husband is still in the gym with his real wife, see? I knew it was weird for you to say that man was your husband. Embarrassing yourself with lies, huh? We're so lovey-dovey, you must have wanted to pretend.
It seems they've reverted to their original assumption that I'm a poor woman deceived by a loser husband. Anyway, our kid was the cutest today. Noah crossed his arms and closed his eyes, reminiscing about his adorable child's proud moment. Even though he was far less settled than the new first graders, always playing games and whispering. So, which one is Sally's stepchild? Introduce us. He's not a stepchild, he's my own child. You're infertile. You're infertile.
You don't have to lie.
Noah and Stella sneered with a grin. Just then, my son Harry ran up with an innocent smile. Honestly, I didn't want Harry near them, but they are still parents of his classmates. I couldn't blatantly avoid them in front of Harry.
Mom. Did I respond loudly enough?
Yes, you did. You were great. I ruffled the proud Harry's hair. Glancing at Noah and Stella, their smiles had vanished. That kid looks just like Sally. They probably imagined a stepchild who looked nothing like me. But Harry and I could almost be called identical. It's clear to anyone we are related. Yes, we do look alike. We are biological mother and son.
What? But you were infertile.
Even seeing Harry, they still clung to calling me infertile. It's like they know no other insult. After I divorced Noah, I remarried and got pregnant right away. I never could with Noah. I used to be upset about not getting pregnant, but not having a child with him turned out to be a blessing since it led to us parting ways. Now, I'm genuinely glad about it. Robbed of their ammunition to demean me, they glared at me, faces twisted as if chewing on bitter bugs. Chin pulled back, eyebrows knitted, they looked like they were chewing gum, fixing a tough stare at me. A perfect imitation of a delinquent's intimidation. I quickly prompted Harry to head back to the classroom. I never thought I'd be hassled like this as a parent in my early 40s, not just as a teenager. Nowadays, it's rare to see kids who blatantly look like troublemakers, and Yanks like Noah and Stella are practically an endangered species.
What? So what are you saying? That it's Noah's fault, not yours? Just so you know, all 5 of our kids are Noah's, no lie. Huh?
Stella suddenly snapped. From the start, it was clear that a reasonable conversation wasn't possible. Interacting with them is just a waste of time. However, as I tried to walk away ignoring them, Noah grabbed my shoulder. Getting cheeky, huh? I didn't want to be upset by Noah, whom I had cut ties with 9 years ago. As I tried to shake off his hand, it was suddenly engulfed in a shadow. When Noah turned around in confusion, there stood Mike, imposing and silent. Without a word, Mike gently removed Noah's hand from me.
Yikes!
Though Mike didn't twist his arm or anything, Noah couldn't stop trembling. On the other hand, Mike, even in a suit, looked intimidating just standing there, his muscles pronounced and his chest significantly broader than Noah's. Mike, a head taller, looked down at Noah. Is there a problem? Mike asked in a deep, rumbling voice. Is there a problem? Mike asked in a deep, rumbling voice.
Huh? No, everything's fine. This has nothing to do with you, Mr. Shurima.
Noah forced a smile and tried to ingratiate himself with Mike. Oh, Mr. Shurima from the next town over, right? I've always respected you. Despite stepping back, Noah tried to cozy up to Mike. It seemed Noah knew of Mike. Mike doesn't talk much about himself, but I've heard stories from others. He was robust even in his school days and was imposing without raising his voice or his hand, yet somehow feared. Being a loner probably also contributed to the respect he commanded. Also, there's a legend, though its truth is uncertain, that Mike once single-handedly fought and won against some fearsome people who challenged him. Mike denies it, but people around seem to believe it's true. Noah, who lived in the neighboring town and is of the same age, had also heard the rumors about Mike. Sure, Noah used to brag, when people hear the name Noah, everyone in this town trembles, but his bravado seems to have vanished. Noah groveled obsequiously. Stella joined in, laughing sloppily and clinging to Mike's thick arm. Some men might enjoy such attention, but Mike looked distinctly displeased as he shook off Stella's hand. "Don't touch my husband." I couldn't help but raise my voice. Noah and Stella froze, their eyes wide. In that moment, Mike walked over and put his arm around my shoulder. Noah must have suspected all along that Mike and I were truly married, but he was probably too scared to admit it. Tentatively, Noah spoke up. "Sally, you're with Mr. Sharima?" A confused Noah. "I'm Mr. Sharima's wife," I stated clearly. Mike nodded deeply, finally making Noah lose color. "That can't be true?" It was the second time today that Noah exclaimed in disbelief. He now looked like a different person from the one who had been glaring at me earlier, his back hunched. "It seems you were quite familiar with my wife. I'd like to join the conversation, please." "No, that's okay. I heard you. It was about infertility, wasn't it? But isn't it a bit much to discuss such a delicate topic loudly, especially on such an important day for children?" Noah shrank even more. Sweating profusely, Noah slowly backed away.
"I'm sorry."
Without caring about his suit getting dirty, he knelt on the concrete covered in sand that had flown from the ground.
"I didn't know. I had no idea that Sally was, Mrs. Sharima was your wife."
Mike stopped Noah as he almost slammed his head into the concrete. Touching his shoulder gently, Noah jumped again with a yelp. "So you are Noah Turner. I've heard about you from Sally. I heard you treated her quite terribly back in the day."
"No,
Mike helped Noah stand up, squatted to meet his eye level, and smiled slightly. "But that's in the past. Now, as parents, let's both act in a way that won't shame our children." His deep, powerful voice filled the air. Noah could only manage a weak yes in response. With tears in his eyes, Noah's legs trembled like a poorly controlled puppet. Mike's eyes narrowed slightly without a smile. "It's a promise." A simple reminder, yet it struck Noah like a bullet. He stumbled backward and fell on his behind. Noah, who had boasted of his past misdeeds, now cowered like a puppy in front of someone stronger. It was pitiful to realize he was just that kind of person. Mike, once known as a tough guy in the next town, had completely transformed into a good father, while Noah and Stella hadn't grown up since their school days. They had terrified themselves with the image of Mike's past, but does such a reputation still have the power to subdue people in this town? If it does, it's only within their narrow community. Noah and Stella, with their appearance and behavior, were just pitiful.
"Shall we go, Sally?"
"Yes, let's. There's a parents' meeting after this." I glanced back at Noah and Stella, who were still sitting stunned. The parents' meeting was scheduled to select PTA officers. "You'll be late for the parents' meeting." Seeing they might stay frozen there for an hour or two, I reminded them as fellow parents of classmates. For some reason, Mike shook his head. "The PTA president just told me that Mr. Turner doesn't need to participate specially. We should be heading there soon." Although puzzled, I started walking as Mike nudged me forward. However, this remark somehow revived Noah. He, that's right. I'm special." He regained his confidence and began bragging to me joyfully. "Yeah, I'm a big deal in this town. Mr. Sharima wouldn't know since he's from the next town, but I'm famous here, you know? I'm the only one exempt from the PTA. Mr. Turner doesn't have to bother with such tedious stuff, the teachers told me so. They're all scared of me, he. The elementary school near our home had a declining number of students and was merged last year with the school in Noah's area. I was apprehensive about entering Noah's territory, not realizing our children would be the same age. Noah seemed to suggest he held more power in this town than Mike. He must have been intimidated by Mike from the next town, but remembered this was his turf. Despite having cowered in the presence of Mike's past until just now, his quick switch was hard to follow. Do you really believe that? Mike sighed and held his head. You're not exempt from PTA duties because the teachers are scared of you and your wife. To be clear, it's because you've been excluded. Noah and Stella looked bewildered. They truly believed they were special. Mike seemed calm, but it was clear he was quite upset since he usually doesn't talk this much. Do you do the PTA work assigned to you? No, you don't. Instead, you just complain and disrupt the harmony. I've heard there was quite a fuss when it was your older child's, too. Noah fell silent.
Come on, toughen up. Don't let Mr. Sharima beat you.
Stella shook Noah, but his cheeks twitched nervously. Mike fixed his gaze sternly on Stella. And you, ma'am. Is the rumor true? That you've been neglecting your children and PTA duties, too busy flirting with fathers you like? Stella also fell silent. Looking down at them, Mike continued. Everyone agreed it would be best if you didn't get involved with the PTA, since you said you didn't want to bother with such annoying things. Normally, there would be complaints about unfairness, but no one objected at all. That just shows how much of a nuisance everyone thinks you are. Several parents around nodded in agreement. Parents with older children obviously knew about Noah's bad reputation. Noah's face turned red with anger.
What? Don't make stuff up. I don't care if you're Mike from the next town, I won't let this slide.
Noah shouted, spitting as he spoke. Do you know what happens if you make me angry? My guys will come running. I vividly remembered being frightened by such threats in the past. But I am not the same person who used to be scared of him. Your guys? You mean the younger guys you call?
Yes. Seriously.
Call them then. They come if you pay them, right?
What?
I hadn't realized it during our marriage, but thinking back, Noah was just a cash cow for those younger men. Noah's family is wealthy, and he spends money lavishly. I remember, he even handed over a wad of cash from his wallet to a junior who helped me when my car was stuck in the mud. At barbecues, there was all-you-can-drink beer and expensive Wagyu beef. Thinking about it, those juniors never showed up unless there was money or beer involved. And often they'd say, I'll do it for a special price, just tens of thousands of dollars. How much would they charge to take down Mike from the next town? Noah lost momentum and hung his head. It seemed he realized that his relationships were tied to money. Realizing I knew this, he suddenly seemed embarrassed. No, that's not it. If you think so, then call them without waving money around.
Shut up. They won't come without money. Noah, even if it takes $10,000 or $20,000, pay them to shut these people up. You have the money.
Stella slapped Noah's back forcefully. Noah's confidence seemed to drain even more. Even Stella was telling him to use the power of money. It was unavoidable. Noah's tales of valor were probably false anyway. A pitiful figure, Noah had bought his influence with his parents' money and was delusional about his status. I am amazing. Noah muttered to himself in a tearful voice, cradling his head. Unable to bear the mocking glances from those around him, Noah started shuffling towards the school gate. He was so hunched over it looked like he couldn't see in front of him, trying to disappear like a ghost, but of course, he was completely visible. Should I say something more to him out of sympathy? No, it's just too pathetic.
What? Noah? Where are you going? Going to get more funds from your mom?
Stella, oblivious to the mood, screamed as she chased after Noah. Mike and I exchanged looks with other parents around us and shared a wry smile. After that incident, Noah and Stella stopped showing up at the school. In a small town, rumors spread quickly. Apparently, there was suspicion that not all of Noah's 5 children were biologically his. Stella had been fishing for men at the children's kindergarten and school, which resulted in her being exempted, or rather, excluded from the PTA. On the day of the school guidance, Noah seemed unaware until Mike told him. Wait, he didn't know about his wife's affairs? Mike was shocked later on. He thought Stella's infidelity was common knowledge, but it seemed that Noah was the only one who hadn't heard. No true friends to tell him, just juniors treating him like a cash cow. Wow, I guess I spilled the beans about the affair. Did I do something wrong? It's weird that everyone in town knew except for Noah. It's not really a bad thing, right? Then, a few weeks later, for some reason, Noah stormed into our house. In a small town, addresses are easily found. I braced myself, thinking he came to complain, but Noah was strangely calm. I divorced Stella. I was completely duped by her. She thought marrying me meant she wouldn't have to worry about money. Then she just did whatever she wanted, had a bunch of kids whose fathers could be anyone, and expected me to pay for it all. Funny, right? He laughed self-deprecatingly. Stella was kicked out, and the children were being taken care of by Noah's parents. Noah suggested a DNA test, but his in-laws refused, worried about the public image. They decided to raise the grandchildren as Turners. It's still unclear whether he even has the ability to father children. He must be torn between wanting to uncover the truth and not being able to face it. And now, my mom's mad about my spending, and I've been kicked out too. I was scared to hear more. We should get back together, huh? We don't even need kids this time. I just need kind Sally to support me. I felt a chill. I made it clear and unequivocal. No way. Don't say that. We loved each other once, didn't we? So, you mean, now that your wealthy parents have abandoned you, you can't live on your own, and you want me to support you? The juniors who used to hang around him for his money probably have no use for a penniless Noah. That's why he came to me, thinking he could push me around. No way. It's not about the money. I just can't bear to be around Noah. Now alone, Noah is scraping by with part-time jobs in our small town. Without the courage to move to the city. Also, Stella quickly caught a new man and was set to marry, but it turned out to be a marriage scam that left her broke. Over 40 and deep in debt. When will she realize she can no longer pick and choose men and play around as she used to? Her future, having lived dependent on men, is all too clear. Despite the persistent rumors about them, soon I won't have to hear them anymore. We've decided to move as a family. Leaving the area where Mike grew up might be sad, but it seems he too felt it was time to leave this town. Harry's class had only 18 students. With just 5 boys. Mom, the next elementary school has 4 classes. There are over 100 first graders. I could make 100 friends. Isn't that awesome? Harry is looking forward to the new environment. There will undoubtedly be strong personalities in the bigger town too. But I believe there will be even more wonderful encounters there.